What's up, y'all? It's your girl, 𝗨𝗕𝗘𝗥, and I am with the Bad Influence, the podcast. And I have to let you guys know that the things that we talk about are gonna get real. I'm being really vulnerable. It's really juicy, and you don't want to miss out.
Welcome back to Bad Influence, the podcast. I'm your host, Chandler Alexis, and today we are here with 𝗨𝗕𝗘𝗥 aka Michaela Mendez. Welcome.
Hey.
Guys, we might sound a little irritated, and that's because we just recorded 15 minutes of the podcast without me realizing I forgot to press record on the podcast recorder. Oops,
it's okay. It was a good.
Yeah, we're gonna jump right back into it. We didn't even stop though, because today, guys, we're talking about originally it was supposed to be about, guys and relationships. I mean, we're going to probably dive into that, but I think we should start what we were talking about, because I think that's a really good topic for people to hear about, like you said, like females and stuff. We're talking about how we basically got through our breakups. That's kind of like the topic today. And so me and Michaela were talking about how we originally, so me and Michaela have been friends since 2016, I believe, to the late 2016, so almost 2017. And funny, because we met through an ex of yours. That's how we met.
My ex-fiance.
Yeah, your ex-fiance, and we're still friends. That's also a crazy dynamic. I'm not gonna dive too deep into it, but yes, they're broken up and they're both fine with me being friends with each other. And honestly, I think that comes from a big maturity side of both of you, mainly Nate though, if you think about it, because I was his friend first. He introduced me to you, so for him to be okay with me still being friends with you is very there's some people out there that wouldn't want that, but he's totally fine with it and very mature, and you are as well, that I'm friends with him, and I think you guys are very I want to give you props for that.
Thank you.
But so me and Michaela have been friends since 2016. But we used to be, I feel like we used to be closer.
Yeah.
When we were, back then when we first started hanging out. But then as time went on, Michaela was doing her own thing and with Nate, and then later on, they broke up. She was doing her own thing. I was doing my own thing. I was in London. Came back to LA, and me and Michaela were cool. So we've always been friends. We've never had a falling out where we weren't friends. But I said earlier, we became closer when we went through our breakups.
No, definitely.
Because we went through our breakups around the same time. I feel like I'm a broken record repeating this again, but I have to. But yeah, we went through our breakups at the same time. We were going through the same things. Our breakups were different, things happened, but we were relating to each other as women, as to how do I get over this? What do I do? And just having each other to lean on.
I want to let you guys know this is not the breakup with my ex-fiance Nate.
Yeah. Let's clarify. And I'm not gonna. We're literally talking this is more recent. And I'm not gonna. We don't need to clarify which relationship, because it honestly does not matter. But it wasn't that one, yeah. But we were going through it, and we just had each other to lean on and have advice from. And I was telling Michaela was talking about how sometimes you have to do. Well, I said sometimes you have to do things to distract yourself, and Michaela had given me advice focus on your bag. Michaela was yes, focus on your bag, or focus on a hobby, or focus on what, Michaela?
Just anything to distract your mind. I feel when you're going through a breakup, oftentimes you're why isn't he calling me? Does he not love me? You're trying to figure out what's wrong with you. But instead of focusing on that, I feel the first step is kind of just reprogramming your brain to kind of
But what did you have me focus on?
Get a bag, girl.
No. What did you introduce me to?
Oh, Clubhouse.
Yes, we were talking about Clubhouse, guys.
Just anything to distract yourself. And that's the first step. Obviously, the second step, in my opinion, is to start working on yourself. But first, you need to, work on healing and kind of distracting your brain before you're so hard on yourself, where you're trying to be perfect for your ex. Nah, you need to be perfect for you. And you'll never be perfect. But what I'm trying to say is try to work on relaxing, understanding what it is about you that you love about yourself, figuring out your favorite hobbies. And I don't know, I feel I reinvented myself this last breakup.
Do you?
I'm really happy. Yeah.
I feel you did too. I feel we both, honestly, it's crazy, because I said earlier, it's crazy how we really went from being so focused on these boys and being like, oh my gosh, he posted this, or he's doing this, or remember we were both like, do you think this is shade? Like, he tweeted this, do you think it's shade? Like, now we call each other like, hey, want to do OnlyFans content together? Yeah. Want to go travel here? Want to go do, like, we're more focused on ourselves and having fun and living life. And honestly, I think that's the best thing we could have done. Look at both of us. We're glowing. We're happy. We're at a good place. And I love that for both of us. But as for like the women out there listening to this, besides focusing on their bag, what advice would you give to them?
I would tell you that regardless of how good you look, how smart you are, how kind you are, how much you did for your ex or your significant other you have now, what he chooses to do, that's on him. You know Facts. What I mean? Like, you could be perfect on paper and he still will cheat, or he'll still lie
if he wants to.
Yeah, if he wants to. Like, everybody makes their own decisions, and sometimes people don't even know why they do the things they do. Just know that
it's not you.
Yeah, it's not you, it's them. And if you did have a toxic relationship, I'm not gonna lie, there's a little toxic in me.
I think there's a little toxic in everybody, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah,
anyone in their 20s, there's a little toxic in you. You have to admit, there's no one out there that's gonna be like, oh, you're 100% healthy. If you're in a relationship, especially even if you're the most healthiest person and you date someone who's a little bit toxic, he might not be like a lot toxic, but he might have like a little bit.
Yeah,
it's gonna turn you toxic. There's no way. That's how toxic works. Once it gets onto you, you're toxic as well. And not saying that you guys are going to be like a crazy toxic couple, but everyone has something. There is something in this world that will make you act a little toxic.
Though? I think that as a society, we should normalize talking about our traumas as children or even as adults. We should talk about our weaknesses. Like even as friends in a relationship, you should be comfortable enough to say, hey, you know what? I went through, I was molested or raped as a kid, or, my parent was abusive. I'm just naming like random traumatic things. Like,
no, I get you.
Like, I'm still working on that trauma. So if there's times that I may lash out on you or I get upset, please understand or give me space. It's not you, it's me. Take accountability for yourself. Take accountability. For me,
that's the thing though, because I feel like, and I'm gonna be 100% honest, like I don't want to lie, there's two types of toxic people though. Like, there's the ones who they act a certain way because of the traumas they've gone through and stuff, but then there's like the type of people like me, and I feel so bad. Like, obviously everybody already knows about this situation with my ex, but he told me like the things he went through as a child, and the traumas he went through his life, and vice versa. I told him about mine. But when we got to a place where I felt like he was hurting me and there was nothing I could do about it, what did I do? I used his traumas against him. And that's where I had to realize, like, I was being toxic. You know what I mean? Like, that's not hurting someone that you care about. Even if they hurt you first, it's never right. But, that's something I had to leave. That relationship had to end for me to realize, like, I need to grow as a person. I need to change as a person. I wouldn't want that done to me, so why am I doing it to him? Especially someone who I said I loved, someone I cared about. Why am I putting him in, or why am I affecting him like that, making him hurt even more when he already went through that shit as a kid? You know what I mean?
But that is so mature of you, and I think that's the point I was making, is like, you're responsible for yourself. He's responsible for himself. So the fact that you acknowledge what you did wrong, and hopefully he's done that too, over the time that you guys weren't talking to each other, that is so brave of you to admit that.
In fact, I feel like that's honestly, and that's all I need in a relationship. If we can both admit where we went wrong, how we're going to fix it, and how we're going to move forward, that's all you need.
With or without each other. Keep in mind, move forward.
Facts. Even if you have to move forward without the other person.
Even as friends or in your life at all. Like,
exactly. Yeah. As long as, and to be honest, he's someone that, like, no matter, whether it's as a friend, in a relationship, or as someone that I can look at from afar and say, I'm proud of you, that, I'm happy either way, as long as he's happy. And what you about to say?
I'm gonna tell you something, and at first I was kind of like embarrassed about it, but now I'm really proud of myself because my last relationship, it did not end in a very healthy way, and it was both of our faults. But I wanted to understand why I felt the way I did and how I reacted the way I did. So I literally I went to relationship therapists. I went to family therapists. I went to a hypnosis therapist. I went to
anyone to find an answer.
Yeah, just to like understand like why I was feeling this way, why I was thinking this way, why I felt so hurt. I was depressed. You know, I was like literally not getting out of bed, crying for months, like just not really loving myself or loving life. And I understood after like extensive therapy and really sitting with myself, like sometimes you have to sit with your hurt. That
definitely, you have to face it.
Exactly. That like a lot of what I was feeling was long before I even had that relationship. It was hurt from other people built up, my traumas, and also like my fear of being alone or somebody I love not loving me.
I used to have that. I used to have that fear of like, I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. I don't want to die alone. Now I have a kid too, so I felt like that pressure was, you know, even added even more. But what like I didn't realize was I was so focused on me, what I want. And I didn't realize the person next to me wanted the same thing for me. But you can't hurt someone and think that because you did so much for them before that it's okay to hurt them. Like, you can't do that. And I had to learn, like I said, I had to learn that alone, realizing like, oh, you know, I lost him because of this. I lost someone who was literally like my ride or die, who cared about me, you know, who loved me, who loved my son, all because I was so focused on myself and, you know, how I wanted to handle things.
I mean,
we're getting so deep.
I know. I'm not gonna lie to you, like I feel like all my previous relationships, like they were very complex, where sometimes I would question if that person ever loved me. And sometimes I still do. I mean, it's good to be vulnerable and try to understand how you feel. And for me, it's like I kind of have trust issues, but that shouldn't affect my relationship
with someone else. Yeah,
with somebody else. That's where like I feel like I've grown so much. Like
I've seen you grow. Girl, you are so different from when I first met you, like so different. And that's in such a good way. I know people say, oh, you've changed. And people always take it. You've changed in such an amazing way. Like you were literally like a caterpillar when I met you. And now you're a beautiful butterfly spreading your wings.
I'm not even going to lie. Like when I first met you, I was intimidated by you. Like
really?
Yeah.
Girl, I was intimidated by you. What?
No, because it's like, you know, I was insecure. And I realized like you could be the most bomb girl with like everything going for yourself, but if you're insecure, that really makes you ugly inside. Where like I was just always like, wow, like, you know, she has everything going for herself. Like what if Nate leaves me for her?
Ew.
I'm just telling you, but like irrational thoughts go through your head.
Yeah, I get you, because of insecurities. But you know, see, and the same way that you were feeling that way, I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, she's so like, I wasn't jealous like relationship wise. I never want to date, but it was more like, wow, like imagine I could have a degree right now if I stayed in school. Like she's doing nursing school and she's doing social media. Like she's really doing it all. Like I'm sitting over here, and this is before I had crew, so I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like why do I have all this free time and I'm not putting it to good use? Like I really, and honestly, completely honest, I was talking to someone about this earlier. You're the reason that made me want to decide to go back to school. Like I was like, wow, she's really a boss bitch. Like at the end of the day, you did your school, you took care of that, and you're also doing social media at the same time. Like now you're done with school, but you know what I mean? Like if you can do it, I can do it too. And you're honestly like, it wasn't a jealousy thing, it was more of like you inspired me. You know what I mean? Like I honestly think women need to start looking at it that way. Be inspired by people. Don't be jealous, don't be envious. Like see something and say, you know what, like I love that she did that for herself, and now she's inspired me to do it too. Like I want to do too, and I give you props for, you know, helping me grow as a person. You know what I mean?
You too. And the thing is, I think a lot of the time we like to kind of like throw shade on other women for what they do for a living or how they are as a person, how they live their life. But I think it's important to grow as a person, to have an open mind and try to understand why people do the things that they do.
Definitely. Because if you would have asked me 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, if I would ever be doing OnlyFans, I would have probably looked at you and be like, that's disgusting. Like OnlyFans, ew. Now look at me doing OnlyFans, because I had other people give me the perspective and show me like OnlyFans is not a bad thing. Especially like okay, even if a woman is showing every body part on her and making money off of it, it's not a bad thing. That's what she chooses to do with her body. Why would that ever be a problem for me?
I'm gonna be real with you. There's women who go to the club and twerk on a man for free, you know, and then after that, after they have a couple of drinks in them, they go back to his house and, you know, sleep with them, do whatever with them, never speak to them ever again for free. I've not done anything with a man in a while. I've been abstinent by choice. Because like right now there's just a lot going on and really I don't have time for that, to keep it real with you.
No, you don't.
To keep it real with you. But at the end of the day, I'm making money through, you know, what I do on OnlyFans. Check it out to figure out what I do. She is Michaela. But that's my choice. And I'm not asking, you know, for handouts from people. I make a living off of that, you know, a really good living.
Exactly.
I have a Tesla.
Exactly. And that's my you just have a Tesla. That's what I'm saying. But like, for me, I had to grow as a person to realize why, even like I said, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. Why is that a problem for me? Like, why is it for me to say, like I would never do OnlyFans content, like the girls on there doing that? Like, I can't believe you're doing. Why is that a problem for me? It's not my business.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's crazy how a lot of men will respect a woman who has nothing, who like has a lot of sneaky links that you never know about. You'll respect her over a woman
who's making a bag for herself,
who makes 6 figures a month, who in reality is not sleeping with
anyone.
Anybody.
Yes. Oh my God. Like, can we emphasize that? Just because a girl does OnlyFans does not mean she's fucking every nigga on there. Like, what?
No. Like, you'll respect that girl who has nothing, who still does not respect her body. But in reality, I respect my body more because I put a number on it.
Exactly.
And I'm letting you know I could take care of myself. I could feed myself. I have everything going for myself. At the end of the day, I have a whole degree.
And if you're a guy who is gonna who says I'm disgusting because I do OnlyFans, or you're looking down, you're not the nigga for me anyways. So who gives a fuck? I don't care about your opinion.
I'm gonna let you know. Any guy watching, the right man for me will look at my past and say I'm a strong woman.
Ooh.
Will look at my present and say, wow, I'm so happy.
She's so smart. She's so independent. Yes, exactly. I'm proud of you.
Like what you
and look at your future and say, I want to keep growing with you.
Exactly. Like, you know, I feel like in your life you have different chapters. Like, you know, this is your chapter right now. I'm so proud of how far you've gone. You're intelligent, you're beautiful, you're educated. You know, you did this by yourself. And now let's go to the next chapter and build together. Facts. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing OnlyFans at 60 years old.
True.
You know, I might even go back and be a nurse, like what I started off doing from the beginning.
But this is your now.
Exactly. This is my now.
And facts, to any woman out there who thinks that that's not possible, to find a guy out there who is fine with it. My ex was doing OnlyFans with me.
Love is unconditional.
Come on now. Yeah, if you love someone, you love someone. You're not going to judge them for how they, if anything, you should be motivating them for how they
I promise you, 10 years from now, nobody will
even
remember what's going on.
And I will also say, like, that's one of my favorite things about OnlyFans right now. Girls can post nudes. Like, even if you're a social media, if I want to post a nude of myself and it gets leaked, it's gonna last for like you know, the hype about it's gonna last maybe like a week.
Look at Kim Kardashian.
A week. Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
After that, it goes away. Like, you move on to the next topic. Who gives a fuck? At this point, like, everybody's nudes are out there. It's just like, you know,
I'm gonna let you know. A lot of people try to hurt me for years over your video tape that was not consensual. I was on MTV True Life talking about it. I cried about it, and I for a long time felt like, you know, poor me, why me? But you know what, I'm consensually taking pictures of myself and videos and putting it on OnlyFans in a way where I feel comfortable you seeing me because I consent to it.
You took control of it.
I'm taking control. Like, my body is beautiful. Like, I hate how women feel like, oh, my body is this, or I'm not good enough. I'm not skinny enough, or maybe curvy enough. No, own your body. My body is beautiful. Facts. And I'm flattered that people want to see my body.
And can I say this too? I don't want to get too deep because I know that's a very sensitive topic for you. But when that video came out, it was crazy to me how wild people got, like, to, you know, try and tear you down, you know, about it, and say like this and that, talking all this shit about it, when it's like, I know y'all be looking that same shit up on Pornhub. Like, let's not. And there's like 10 million other videos of girls doing the same thing.
The fact that you have that video just shows what you've been doing to my video.
Exactly. Like, why? And again, why do you guys care? Like, y'all don't have sex? Y'all not have a happy sex life? Like, a healthy
sex life? They must not know
like,
how they were created.
Exactly. Like, what's going on here? Like, I just didn't get it. Like, I remember that whole thing happened. I was just sitting there like, why is this such a big deal? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I was
And to me, the bigger deal was that your consent wasn't given for the video to be given. I feel like that's the only topic that should have been talked about. Was she okay with this being posted? You know,
what drugs was I under the influence of?
Exactly. Like,
who put it out there?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what the topic should have been. Not, oh, she's a this or she's a that. Like, what are y'all are? It's victim blaming. Y'all are blaming the victim, and that's not okay at all. Like, I just remember, it just makes me mad because I was just like so frustrated. I'm
gonna let you know, if I consented to do a porno, best believe I'm gonna show everybody, like, girl, look at me. I was getting it. Like, I look beautiful. Like, I look, it was good. Like, I'm gonna really be talking myself up.
OnlyFans.com.
OnlyFans, like,
exactly.
But I didn't consent to it, so therefore, like, it was something done, like, to hurt me. And there was
made you stronger.
No, because there was a point I didn't want to live. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was really hard.
And people don't realize that. Like, we're human beings. We might have a following, and if anything, I feel like those are the ones who are more sensitive to things like that. We're looked at every single day under, a telescope. Like, what the fuck is she doing? Why is she doing this? Like, me, even as a mother, like, people judge me so much on how I raise my son or what I feed him to, and it's like, bro, we're still human beings. We have feelings. Like, you guys have to realize, just as easily as you can take your life, I can take mine too. What if that was my last straw? Like,
people were threatening to have me kicked out of nursing school at the time. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but at that time, I was focusing on nursing school. I wasn't focusing on being a social media influencer. Like, I really fell in love with somebody who did YouTube. I didn't ask for this lifestyle. It kind of just came to me naturally. But, like, I was in nursing school and people were talking about that tape. And it's crazy that I was a victim in that situation, but people were like, we're gonna get you kicked out of school. Like, you should really be careful.
Right, and wait, like your life wasn't already going bad at that moment anyways, because people were scrutinizing you. But now to add on to, like, oh, we want to make her life even more of a living hell by getting her kicked out of school.
Yeah,
like,
I would have teachers come up to me and say, like, if I were you, I'd remove that. It's like, first of all, why were you
even looking at it? Yeah, what? Yeah, that's weird. But let's change the topic, because earlier you mentioned how you haven't had time to even be with a man. Let's talk about this, because, girl, you have been booked and busy. Like, I'm so mad at you, Michaela. We were supposed to film this podcast last week, and then like the week before that, we finally got you on the show. Girl, you have been busy. Atlanta. Like, since we've been talking, you've been at Atlanta like 3 times. You've been to Miami, New Orleans. Where was the one you went out of the country? Dominican Republic. Like, girl, you're living your fucking best life. How's that going?
It's going really good. I never felt like growing up I was beautiful enough to be like a model. And I realized, like, beauty isn't just like what you look like on the outside. It's having that confidence. And finally, like, I stepped out of my comfort zone. I started doing like e-commerce modeling. I started doing like atmosphere modeling, music videos.
Girl, we saw you. Was it Best Friends? Chris Brown and what was the other guy? Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
Girl, we saw you.
And the thing
I was so proud. First of all, because wait, hold on. I'm going to cut you off because I got to give you your praise. You told me about this video. I remember. But Michaela's a very private person. You guys don't realize this. Like, even as friends, she's still private. And I love that about you. Like, you've taught me to be more private too, like, with my life. Because I'm usually open with everything. And I had to realize, like, there's people who, even though you might tell them some good news, they're looking down on you. Like, they're like, oh, I want that to go bad for her. I don't want that to happen, So I learned from you, like, I gotta be more private about who I tell information to. Or, like, even if I want to tell my best friend, let me wait till it happens and then I'll let you know. But even then, so Michaela was like, I have this video, like, they want me to be in this music video. I don't know if I should go. I'm like, girl, go, like, go do it. Like, it sounds fun, even if you're just staying in the house today, like, just go out and do it. And then you went and did it. Girl, I did not know it was for fucking Chris Brown's music video. I was in fucking DC. They turned on the TV. They were like, oh, this new video dropped, let's watch it. I'm sitting there and I'm just like, that girl looks very familiar. Michaela? Oh my God, it's fucking Michaela. Like, I was so proud of you. I'm like, oh my God, not because it's like Chris Brown or because it's Jack Harlow. I don't know who he is, no offense, but it was, for me, it was because it was like, this girl is everywhere. Like, that's what I want for my friends. I want to see your face every fucking where. I'm driving down the street, I want to see you on a billboard. If I'm at the club, I want to see that, oh, you're hosting tonight. You know, that's what I want. So to see, like, you know, I'm in DC just minding my fucking business, and then like, boom, there's my friend, like, and I can say that's my friend right there. Like, I love that for you, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. And the thing is that I realized that I make more than a video girl. Like, people don't realize like how much I really don't say how much I make a month. It's nobody's business.
It's not.
People don't realize, like,
in your bag.
Yeah, how many things I do. Like, you should always have 7 sources of income. So that should give you a hint there. How many things I do, not even related to social media.
Like, if y'all want another hint, I have 1 assistant. Michaela got 2. Like, she's in her fucking bag.
So with that being said, I feel like, you know, doing the music videos, it was fun, but it was also humbling. And I felt like, you know, don't ever think you're too big for something. I felt like doing modeling and doing music videos, like acting and stuff like that, like, it kind of humbled me and made me understand like what does make me happy. I feel like those things kind of became a hobby to me. And they also were great networking opportunities for me. So I feel like, don't feel like you're too big for a project. Don't think you're too cool to do something, because you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know what opportunities may come your way. And for me, I feel like as long as you're a good person, you're persistent, and you're consistent, like, everything that you want in life will fall into place. And I feel like everything's been falling into place for me.
Definitely.
And
can we just say, like, as young girls from LA, did you ever think your life was going to be this? Because let me just say, you took me, I'm not name dropping, we're not name dropping on this show, but you took me to a certain someone's house, and I'm not like a crazy fan of his, but obviously everyone loves his music. You know, there's no one out there that can say he has bad music. So little me from LA, Chandler Alexis, would never have thought I'd be in his fucking house. Like, never would I have thought I'd be, oh, I'm gonna go to a party at his house, and it's so casual, like, yeah, we can go. Never. Like, you know, there's people who pay thousands of dollars just to go backstage to meet this person, and we're just walking up in his house like, oh, what's up? And in this situation, this was because of you worked hard enough to get to a point where people want you around, where people are like, that's Michaela, what the fuck? Even I remember when, you know, like, even getting in, what the fuck are we doing standing out here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you worked for this. And so would you, like, your younger self, would you have thought you would have got to this point?
I feel like that goes back to, like, understanding your worth and knowing that, you know, you are somebody to whoever. I don't, like, regardless of what you do, like, you could be in nursing and say, I'm somebody. Yeah. You know, like, I may not be the doctor, but I'm a CNA, and one day, you know, my dreams is to be a doctor, or maybe you're going to be the best CNA in the world. Exactly. You know, in any situation that you're in, just know that you're somebody. And when you demand respect from people, they will respect you. You teach people how to treat you. And, you know, when you're insecure, when you're all worried about, like, you know, maybe I'm not good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, whatever, that's what's going to hold you back. And I feel like lately I've just been focusing on just, you know, I'm not worried about what the next person's doing. I'm worried about what I'm doing and how I could be better. And I feel like a lot of people, when they meet me, they really mess with my energy. And I'm just like, I mess with theirs. I don't care how famous you are, how rich you are. If I don't like your energy, I'm good.
Yeah, true. Because there's a lot of celebrities that I've met, and I'm like, I can't be around you. Like, you want me to come back, but like, no, I'm okay. But you weren't giving me what I need. Like, I love it. At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people expect that celebrities are supposed to be like assholes, and okay, if that's what you expect and that's what that's how they want to act, that's cool, but you're not going to act like that around me. I'm not okay with that. At the end of the day, if I'm an influencer and I can be humble, and I know other influencers who can be humble and other celebrities who can be humble, then that's what I'm going to surround myself. So if you're a celebrity and you're going to act arrogant and act like an asshole and treat people rude, I don't want that energy around me. Okay, so I have a question. What? Random question. Since we were talking about like exes earlier, are there any exes you would get back together with? You don't have to say who, so just be honest. That's a yes, Michaela. You don't even have to, like, it's all in the look. Like, your face right now, that's a yes. Yes?
Yes, there is.
More than one or just one?
I feel like there's exes that I care for that I'm not in love with anymore. But there's one ex that, you know, if we were to cross paths naturally again,
and be more mature and grown,
and like we both would have had to definitely put in work spiritually, independently. I see myself growing old with them.
Yeah. That's so cute.
If that happens,
if it were to happen.
That's why I'm not even really.
Can I just say, I don't know which ex you're talking about, and I don't even want to like look at you because I feel like you'll give me a look to let me know. But like, I hope it's not the ex you're talking about, like, or that I'm thinking about. I really hope it's not. But anyways, I'm gonna keep talking so she don't give me a look. But moving forward, I feel like, okay, does it worry you though? Okay, let's say you were to get back together with that ex, right? Because this is something like I've thought about. How would you deal with knowing that they hooked up with other people in between the time that they were with you? And because like me, I feel like if you're the love of my life, like you should have waited for me. I'm not gonna wait for you, but like you should have waited for me. Like you went and hooked up with other girls. Like I'm devastated.
See, the thing is, from my knowledge, none of my exes have ever like physically, with evidence, ever like hooked up with another girl. It was more so like...
No, I'm talking about after you.
Huh? Oh, after!
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, let's say, okay, you guys were together. You were in love. Things didn't work out. You went your separate ways, right? But in the back of your mind, you were kind of always like, oh, I love him. You know, if things were to work out, I would get back together with him. And he's thinking the same thing. And then let's say, like, a year later, you guys come back together. And you guys are just like as in love as you were, but now it's more at a mature stage. Like, you know, it's no toxicity. You know, you guys have grown. You guys have learned each other's love language and how to communicate. But then you have to deal with like well, what did you do while we were broken up? Or like even the fact that he might mention to you like, oh, that girl at the party that you were, you know, that we went to and you were talking to her, like I fucked her. Like, how would you? Because I'm dying. Like I would die.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I feel like ignorance is really bliss. So I'd rather not know.
Would you? Okay. So and that's what I was like battling in my head. Like, is that how I would be? Like, would I rather not know?
It's important to not know.
How would you feel? Like, okay, like let's say Becky, your ex went and hooked up with Becky. You know, a month after you guys broke up, you guys come back together. Okay, you're at a party and Becky comes up to you. He's not with you. Becky comes up to you and she's like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Hi, girl. Keep in mind, him and Becky were never in a relationship. They just hooked up a few times, you know, sneaky link type shit. She comes up to you at a party. She's like, hi, Michaela. Like, you are so pretty. She doesn't know who you are, though. She doesn't know you're his ex. She says, you're so pretty. Like, girl, we vibe. Like, let's hang out. Obviously, you guys are going to somewhat vibe.
Your face.
Yeah. But keep in mind, she doesn't know either. She doesn't know that you're his ex because she was just a sneaky link. You don't really talk about your exes with sneaky links. You kind of just fuck and then, you know, keep it going. So you guys become cool. You guys are, you know, bonding friends. And then you bring Becky up to your ex and you say, hey, I met this girl. Her name's Becky. And he's like, Becky who? And you're like, Becky Jane. And he looks her up and he's like, I gotta tell you something. I fucked her. Or he doesn't tell you. And how would you feel if he doesn't tell you? And now you're best friends with the girl. And like she comes around and then she realizes like, oh, that's your nigga. But she doesn't say anything to you either. Like wouldn't you want to know?
I think for me, if I were to ever get back with any of my exes, I would basically say, hey, the time that we weren't together, that's whatever you did is your business. But all I ask is out of respect for me, if there's somebody that I know or somebody that, you know, you notice that I may be mutual friends with on Instagram, any type of social media, or you see me talking to them in person, have enough respect for me to say, hey, you know, I was intimate with that person or I spoke to that person in
just to not make you look stupid.
Yeah, I think it's just like have that decency. Yeah, have that respect for me. But other than that, like what you do when I wasn't around you, just like what I did when I wasn't around you, that's your business. That's my business.
You see, but I feel like that's gonna be okay. I feel like it would be hard to keep your feelings out of it, especially because like once, okay, let's say you know he ignorance is bliss. He doesn't tell you, but then you know he does tell you one day like, oh, that girl that you wanted me to tell you if you ever, you know, were to see this girl, that girl I fucked. And now you're standing there looking at that girl like she knows what my nigga feels like. Like,
yeah.
I feel like me personally, I know it's probably like, and I don't think it has anything to do with insecurity at all. I think it has to do with selfishness. Like, you know,
like that's mine.
Yeah, that's mine. And like you had it. And I don't know, like it's so hard to like it makes me kind of angry, but it's like something you can't be angry about.
You can't react in anger. You could react in sadness.
No, I don't mean like angry at him. Like, it makes me angry in myself. Like frustrated. Like, why? Like, you know, and obviously that's when you realize you really love someone, because you would not. Like,
you're jealous.
You're jealous. If it was a nigga I didn't give a fuck about, like, I'm not gonna fuck who you fucked. Like, okay, I don't care about you. But, you know, when you start to feel that way, you're like, oh yeah, I definitely care. But also, okay, question. So let's switch it up. Let's say he fucked a girl. Okay, we're gonna call her Becky again. Let's say him and Becky fucked one time, and then after, they became friends because they realized, like, oh, you're like, that was weird, like, we're better off friends. Okay, by the way, I'm gonna give you, never mind, I'm not gonna tell you till after I tell you the situation, because this is actually, like, it relates to something. But they become friends after, best friends, like, and that's all it literally is. Like, he swears to God that's all it is, and he's telling the truth. Like, you know, outside source telling the truth, they're just friends. You're saying ignorance is a bliss, so unless that person's around you. So he introduces you to Becky and says, this is my friend, all we are is friends. But then he says, we did hook up one time. What would your reaction be?
I have to say that I was him once, in the sense that I had a guy friend that we hooked up before, and we became really close friends, and I felt like I wasn't really caring much about my ex's feelings at that time. If I would have done things differently, it would have been to cut off that friend out of respect.
No guy, I don't feel like, maybe there is a guy out there, but I don't feel like most guys would be cool with me being best friends with someone I hooked up with.
Honestly, they're not.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what's going to get in the way, or it's going to be an excuse for them to act the way they act.
True. And be best friends with some girl they
and genuinely, I've never cheated in a relationship.
Me either. And I never would.
Never. But I understand, because I decided to be friends with somebody I was intimate with previously. I have to take responsibility that that's partially a reason why they did what they did. Yeah. And I can't just blame them for that.
It's just hard. It's like, damn. Like,
it's really hard.
You have to pick. It's like picking, you know, one person you care about over the other. And at the end of the day, I'm obviously, like, if you're in a relationship, that person is going to come first. You save them
for the long haul.
Exactly. Yeah. And friends aren't always forever, you know, not to say like this person's like, I honestly think he would be a really good friend, but I think you're right. Like, I'm saying, you're obviously coming from like the guy's perspective. Like, yeah, no guy is going to be okay with that. And if I tell him he has to be okay with that, then I have to be okay with whatever he does in response to that, because I'm allowing someone who I was intimate with to be in my life and around us still. And I get that. Like, it sucks, but like, I get that. Like,
no, I mean, the thing is, especially in the beginning, I feel like it's important to just not have any complications, especially if you're getting back together. What I've learned through therapy and like really like diving deep into like myself is that next relationship I get into, or say if I get back with an ex, I'm just saying hypothetically, it's really important to just focus for a while on just you two. Nothing else. No distractions. No distractions. No.
So like no conversations about what happened else. Before. No conversations.
Don't talk about the past.
Don't arguments and
nothing. Don't talk about the past. What you both needed to work on. Don't even, maybe later on once you guys are stable again. But just focus on the friendship
and happiness.
Exactly. Like, don't even talk about, oh well, you cheated or you lied or none of that. Like, literally let them know, hey, you know, for right now, I don't want any distractions. I'm really into you. It's really important that we work on building a healthy relationship.
Once again.
So, like, yeah, once again, if that's a situation.
Basically, relive that honeymoon stage again.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that's also, like, if I were to ever get back with one of my exes, like, that would be something that's obviously a challenge, because you obviously, like, there's hurt. And with hurt comes questions. And with questions comes answers. And sometimes we don't want the answer. And like, sometimes you ask a question, you're not ready for the answer. There's many times I've asked questions with my exes, you know, like, was this true? Did you do this? And I was not mentally prepared for the answers, but I needed the answers. I felt like I needed them. And then actually after I got them, most time I was like, I should have just left it. Like, I should have just left it alone. But I agree. Like, that's really good advice. Like, you know, if I were to ever get back to my exes, or anyone out there were to ever get back with their exes, like, just enjoy the now. And that's kind of what we've been talking about, mainly. Like, enjoy your now, enjoy the happiness, enjoy, like, focus on the positivity, and don't, until it's necessary. And until, I think honestly, if you build a friendship with an ex, you know, build that friendship back up and you build that balance, then afterwards, when you decide to address the problems, it should be able to be fixed easily because you guys have that friendship. At the end of the day, you know you don't want to lose each other, and you know that no matter what, you have to come up with some sort of solution to move forward.
I'm gonna be so real. I don't know if I'll ever talk to the ex that
you said you would get back together with.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever speak to them ever again. And there's a part of me that still kind of is angry. But what I do know is that you should never speak to somebody while you're angry.
Facts.
And that's why I've not talked to them. But just because, you know, you don't talk to somebody doesn't mean that you don't love them. But that's why it's important to have discipline. You know, not looking at their social media, not wishing them harm, like literally wishing them well.
And honestly, I think the most attractive thing to guys and girls both out of a relationship is seeing the other person do better and grow. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like I think okay, call me crazy, I don't give a fuck, but I honestly think a lot of people do this anyways. When I get out of relationships, like I definitely am stalking your page. Like, I want to see what the fuck you're doing after me. And honestly, like, to me, if you're not doing nothing, I'm kind of like, not in like a negative way, like, or not like a, you know, rude way, but to me it's kind of like making me happy that, not that you're not doing anything with your life, but happy that I dodged a bullet. Like, you really weren't going to help me grow in life because you're not even helping yourself grow in life. But when I see you doing something for your life, when I see you're going out and, you know, I see you chasing your goals. If your dream was to be a rapper, I see you're in the studio every night. Or if I know your dream was to be a social media influencer and I see you're posting every day and you're on your grind, that's what's attractive to me. And that's what kind of makes me rethink, like, damn, I really missed out. And that goes for girls, if you're out there and you're like, you know, you want your nigga to want you, like, even if you don't want him back, but you just want to show him that you're better off without him. Let's say he cheated on you and he left you. Show him that you're better off without him by glowing up yourself
and working on yourself.
Exactly.
And actually genuinely meaning it when you say, like, oh, I love myself, like, mean it. And
even if, like, let's say you're not there yet to mean it,
no, you don't love yourself it's yet, gonna take a while.
Fake it till you make it. Because honestly, by telling yourself, it's like manifestation. Telling yourself it every day, eventually it's going to come true. And I think, honestly, manifestation helped both of us get to where we are.
But don't fake it for the gram. Like, literally, you want to enjoy the time that you're having.
Yeah, if you're not happy, don't fake it for the gram. Don't post. Just don't post. Just leave it alone until you're ready to show off true happiness. I think that's valid.
No, I definitely agree with that. And another thing I have to say, too, is, like, it's not just for previous relationships. I want to say, like, when you have a new relationship, something that I'm learning myself before I have another new relationship, because like I said, I've been just focusing on myself. Just don't rush things. I feel like we're so quick to be like, our babies will be so beautiful. Like, you know, it'll be so much cheaper for us to get a house together. Like, we do this, and like just like thinking of all these scenarios in your
Michaela,
head. Stop.
What if this podcast was my last straw? I feel personally attacked. Moved in with my ex too soon. Was like, what would our kids look like?
We all did it. Yeah. We all did that.
We all did that, but we had to grow.
The thing is, from now on, like, for instance, my next relationship, if it's somebody that I haven't had a past with, I'm going to take some time, you know? Like,
and I think time
I want to really get to know them and understand if we're even compatible before I even be intimate with them. Does that scare you,
though, like, to get to, like, know? Because, like, let's say you spend a year with someone, right? Okay, well, first question. When you go back into dating, are you going to date one person at a time? Or would you be, like, in the dating life as in dating? Because when I came back into the dating life, that was my issue. I felt like, at first, I started off, like, focused on one guy. And that guy played the fuck out of me. Like, let's just be honest. Played the fuck out of me. I think I told you about that situation. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, dude, I did tell you about that situation. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So he played the fuck out of me. And so after that, I realized, like, I just spent, you know, it was short, luckily, like a month talking to him. And he wasted that month. So now I was like, imagine I had given him a year of my life, you know, of my time, I mean, and he wasted that. That would piss me the fuck off. Like, I would be so mad. That's probably what would make me go crazy. So instead, I realized, like, I'm moving forward in my dating life. Like, that was a lesson I learned from. I'm going to talk to multiple people and be in the dating scene. Not to say, by the way, because correction, lots of people always think that by being in the dating scene and talking to multiple people, you're fucking every single one of them. And that's not true. Like, it's a stigma. You can literally talk to 20 guys if you wanted to and not be fucking any of them.
No, not even kissing.
Exactly.
I feel like it's really important to understand what you like. We always have this expectation of what we like. Like, we're like, oh, he has to be 6'2". He has to have like this degree. He has to make, 7 figures.
Have to have abs, have to be funny. Like,
but then you realize through dating that maybe, this isn't exactly what I like. Maybe I like something else. Or maybe I could compromise the 6'2" guy for maybe a 5'8" guy who has all the other great qualities. And for me, I feel like next time I start dating, I will start dating multiple men at a time, which means, like, of course, I want them to take me on dates. They're not coming to my house. I'm not coming to theirs.
I'm dating, going on dates,
simply going on dates.
And if I like you, you get a second date.
Exactly.
And if it gets to a point where I no longer want to date anyone else because I've learned so much about you, then that's what will happen, and we'll move forward from there. Facts. That's literally all I've been trying to say. When people are literally, I'm getting so much judgment because I post different guys on my Instagram and stuff, and you've obviously seen it. And then it's funny thing is, like, my friends know which ones I've talked to and which ones are just friends. Like Fredo, just a friend, but obviously people
actually introduced you to Fredo.
Exactly. But people freaked out thinking he was my boyfriend and were like, you're such a slut, you're such a hoe, you were just with a homeboy the other day. And I'm like, bruh, first of all, why does it matter to you guys? Like, mind your damn business, mind the business that pays you.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, just a friend. And even if he wasn't, that's my business, not yours.
Exactly.
It's dating. You guys don't judge when the Bachelorette does it or the Bachelor does it.
Yeah, we look for the next season once it's over.
Exactly. So let me live my life and be happy doing it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And if you just had one date with one person your whole life, you're gonna question if that person is even right for you.
Exactly.
So I think it's really good to explore your options.
Like Baskin Robbins, try different flavors.
And also, I read this book, and what they were saying in this book is, like, you need to know somebody in every season of their life. When they're happy, they're sad, mad,
good, bad.
Like, just how they argue, what's their love language. You need to understand them. Even, like, it sounds weird, even during the holidays, like how they react. Maybe they went through a certain trauma where, like, their Christmases are devastating. Like, you need to understand how they react throughout the whole year to really understand them.
Facts.
And I feel like next relationship I'm in, I really want to understand them fully and completely before I take that next step to, like, inviting them in my home and, giving them parts of me. Like, I really believe in soul ties. And
Facts.
I definitely feel like before you give somebody a piece of you, you have to really think, like, do they deserve that? And do I even deserve a piece of them? Because, like I said, like, we're all broken in some way. And there may be times where, like, we feel like this person is perfect for us,
but they might not be.
But they may not be, or, we're not in a position in our lives or a point in our lives to even embrace them and accept them into our lives as our partners.
And that's exactly what I said earlier. I feel like at the time of my life that I was with my ex, I wasn't at a place in my life to appreciate him or be the person he needed. Even though he was the person I needed at the time, I wasn't the one he needed at the time. You know what I mean? And we grow over time. But yeah, thank you so much, Michaela, for being on the show. Appreciate having you. And yeah, guys, make sure you follow her on all social medias. This was Bad Influence, the podcast, and we'll see you next time.